So golden rule for any IPO, guys, that you always need to learn the opening range. What's the high low it's making in its first 10-minute candle? So the first candle was between 40 and 39. So that was the range. Now you short when it broke the 39. You close the short when it comes over 39. And then you use the 39 long again if it's long. And once it breaks out here, it's another long. You can use the stops middle of this range. So the concept is about the opening range on the IPOs. So when the stock comes into this box in the opening range, then this becomes your risk again, because this was where the IPO had the lows. You can also use sometimes the opening price of IPO, but you definitely cover your shorts when you see this, or you definitely 100% cover your short when you see this getting over the upper range. Very impressive move by this IPO in the stock market. This is the general concept. Use it next time you want to trade an IPO. Make an upper range, lower range. If you see it's consolidating, then you use the stops to long it. If you're a bearish bias, then you have to use the upper range as a stops. And if you're bullish bias, then you do not long here. You definitely don't long here. When you see this, then you can long here and you use the stops at here. And if it breaks out, that's good for you. It's going to push higher. So today was an IPO mania. CRWV. Core V was one of our day 3 setups. You see that IPO range direction I gave. When something pushes over the IPO highs, it's a breakout, it's a long. Then that's what exactly did. Once it was over these 42s, this was a long. And it finally hitting most of the Fibonacci's. If it holds 50, we'll see 54, then 56. But it was a good long. This was triggered by so many other IPOs which were going. It had also had options. So when it had options, there's a lot of gamma squeeze, brand new options released after 3 days, the stock on the NASDAQ. So options, a lot of options also caused that gamma squeeze. And the float is very small on these IPOs. The moving them is pretty easy. And that's why you see an explosive move once we broke out of this area. So always remember that IPO lows, IPO highs, that's a big rule. And similarly, you short it or you never long it when something breaks down. Back in the day when all these big IPOs were breaking down in the IPO lows, I told everybody to stay away, because once the IPO lows gives up, there's no bottom. You just have to wait and see where it stops. But once we break out of the IPO highs, you have a clear defined breakout risk. Take it long. So NMAX was an IPO yesterday, ran good from 14 bucks all the way to 80 bucks. And to a normal person, this might sound like crazy, unusual. It's not. They run. It's all supply and demand. It's had nothing to do with valuation. It's fully shorting it up with the valuation, because when there's supply demand squeeze, you don't step in front. You trade it, what it gives, and you go home. Anyways, the plan on NMAX was 90, 100 support, 130 is the breakout. Volatile, not for everyone. Long if 100 holds. NMAX right out of the gate held the 512 clouds. Then it gave a flag breakout long. Remember that 130 level, that bull flag break, and that was the long here. The target I gave was 200. We were short of the 100 target initially. Then it broke 512. That's why you stop out. You have to get out. And once it reclaims right here, this was another long. So WTF is another IPO. So once one IPO starts running, then other IPOs also starts run, because everybody wants the next big runner. And that's exactly what WTF was doing. So that's meme name. And what that meme name does, it attracts more people to trade it. Nothing to do with the fundamentals. Again, it was breaking its IPO highs. Once it breaks the morning IPO highs, it's going to push. The range was small, and then it broke out of the IPO highs. Then it pushed, room to 10. And then I told everybody if 10 holds, it can squeeze. And that's what happened.
Learn how to trade low float setups at www.ripstereducation.com.